So now let's see how we can work around with the gradient tool inside of Pixlr E. So over here you can see that I have a blank canvas, and over here on the left side you can see that gradient is an option. Once I click on the gradient tool, what happens is that you have the gradient option right here. And right now nothing is selected, so if I were to click and drag, then you can see that you got more like a linear gradient right here. You can click and drag, and then that is how you can apply gradient. Similarly, there's the radial gradient, and if I were to click and drag this, what happens is that the gradient is radial. So you got the transition of one color to the next. You can work around with the opacity of the gradient as well. So right now there is no opacity, so everything is being replaced. But if I were to go around and decrease the opacity, now what happens is that it is actually keeping up a gradient on top of the other gradient according to the opacity that we are actually choosing. There's blending mode over here as well if you want to apply this out, but this is something we're going to take a look at in further lessons. So over here you can see that this is the gradient, and I'm going to just increase out the opacity now. But if I were to click around over here on the gradient, then you can choose different type of gradients. For example, you can go around, choose this, click and drag this out, then that is how you can apply the gradient. Similarly, you can go around over here onto this gradient. This is more like a rainbow gradient, as you can see right here. So if I were to go to linear, click and drag it, then you can see that this is the gradient that you have. You can go around into gradient, and you can change these little things. As you can see, you can click to add in more colors, or click and drag it out right here. So I'm just going to go around, click on this, remove it to remove out the colors. You can go around over here, and you can also work around with the gradient opacity. So this is 0 opacity, this is 100%. So if I were to click and drag, you can see that the dark part is more transparent compared to this one right here. So you can go around, add in more, and then work around with the opacity, and then select out more right here, decrease out the opacity right here, go around right here, and then go around, let's say for example, choose yellow, and then work around with it. And if I were to decrease and increase the opacity, this is what you have. Similarly, you can go around over here as well, and then if I were to select out the color, then this is what you have. You can go around, decrease the opacity, and work around with it. If I were to click and drag, then this is what you have, as you can see, according to the gradient that we chose right here. If I were to go around into radial, click and drag it, you can see that you got more of a radial gradient right there. And that is how you can work around with the gradient tool inside of Pixlr E. So I hope you guys learned something as always. And as always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.